Hello, fellow CRAPS enthusiasts. This is our second part in the series of Bubble CRAPS Tracker Analyzer tutorial series. In this section, we're going to kind of review what we learned back in the first part, which was the basic entry functions, and we're going to expand just a bit to get into the editing of the data that we have installed up here in the role display area. Okay, to begin, let's just kind of go over what we discussed in the first part. What we've learned so far is that this is our display area. This is kind of our stats area right here, along with the information recorded down in this lower area. I don't believe we've discussed much about the number before 7 out, nor have we gone over the forecasting area here. These few buttons in this area just kind of review the last number of roles as they display. Here we have the last 100 count, the last 50 count, last 25 roles, the full session that we've had, and we also have a history. The history, the difference between the history and the session, let us say that we have, as displayed here, we have 61 roles for this current session. So our session here show us a total of 61 roles. Now if we go down to our history, which is a total of 635 roles, the information here is a total of 635 roles. So the difference between the session and the history is just that this covers just the session in the graph, this covers all of the history. Okay. We've also gone over how to enter a number up in this area here. As an example, let's say a roll just occurred. It came up as a 5 and a 3 on the dice game, so we put in 5-3. We hit our enter key, and there we now see the 5-3 displayed, and the combo occurrences for the number 8 as they are displayed in this area here. Our point has been established, and we can continue. Let's say, for instance, now we're going to kind of go over the actual editing of an item. This last roll we typed in was a 5 and a 3. It should have been a 5 and a, let's say, a 4. So what we can do is we can go up here and double click, or if you're using a mobile device, just do a double tap with your finger on that particular item, and it'll now bring up the editing window. You'll notice that in the background here our display of roles is gone, but we can maneuver forward and backward through this little editing icon, or editing window rather. Okay, so we're at our 5 and a 3. Let's change that. We said it was going to be a 5 and a 4, so we would type in a 5, a 4. We press our enter key, and voila, that entry is now a 5 and a 4. We can continue to edit through here. Let's say this 5 and a 2 was really not a 5 and a 2. It should have been a 2 and a 2. Let's go ahead. We'll just update that at 2 and a 2. We hit our enter key, and now it's displayed, and we're done. Once all our entries are edited into the respective numbers, we then just click on the little X here, and it will go and recalculate all the items for us, which is now done. So everything along here has been updated. The counts for this area up here as well as down in this area will be updated, and so is the stat window in here. That is all that is required for editing. Now you can go back and forth. The nice thing is you can edit anywhere in a session. Okay, a session, you have to remember that. You can't go back to previous sessions, but in your current session you can edit any point that you want. Let's go ahead and take out this 7 here, and let's make it we'll make it a hard 8. Here we go. And it will update anything in the background as we would require. Okay, very simple, and life goes on for us. Now, one last thing that we'll just go through, because we kind of covered last week's information. Then we're just doing the editing for today. It's going to be just a very quick and simple item. We want to just make sure that we remember that we can jump to the end of an item. We can go to the beginning of the history. We can go to the end of the history of the role display. We can go back and forward a few spaces at a time using this here. We can go to the beginning of a session. We can, once we're at the beginning of a session like this here, we can actually now go to the beginning of a previous session and so on, or just jump to the next session or to the very end if we double click on it. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to email it at bubblecraps@gmail.com, or you can go to the support window up in here. Just click on this up and contact us. It'll open a little email window on your browser, and you can email us through there as well. For any other questions, or if you have comments, you can just get them to us one way or another through either the window up here or the bubblecraps@gmail.com address. And if you need any assistance, definitely let us know that as well. Okay? Hope you're having a good time using this, and we'll talk to you very soon again.